Today I'm talking more to lawyers in the United States that may have a client that is Canadian that was injured in a car accident in the United States. It's not uncommon for Canadians to travel throughout the United States for vacation, visiting family, work, etc. And unfortunately, sometimes accidents happen when people are away from home. Representing Canadians injured in a car crash in the US isn't the same as representing someone from your state. And there are some important features I want to share with my colleagues throughout the United States in the event that you're representing a Canadian right now who is in a crash. Number one, many Canadians have no-fault benefits available in their home jurisdiction. Those no-fault benefits can be quite significant in Canada. Depending on the jurisdiction, the province where your client's from, those no-fault benefits can range from thousands of dollars to upwards of $1 million or more, depending on the nature and the severity of the accident. No-fault benefits in Canada often include medical, rehabilitation, attendant care, housekeeping, in addition to income replacement benefits, among others. So if you are representing a Canadian injured in the United States, you may be given the option to elect benefits of either your client's home jurisdiction, their province back in Canada, or the jurisdiction where the accident occurred, that being the U.S. state. It's very important to be informed and look at both sets of benefits and make sure your client is electing the right benefits under the circumstance. We're called frequently by attorneys all over the U.S., specifically on this subject. We're happy to talk to you. We're happy to share advice. We're happy to share with you the information on the Canadian benefits so that you can help your client make an informed decision. Very often, we're brought in to actually handle those benefits, to help your client, once they return to Canada, use those benefits, maximize their treatment, their income loss, etc., so that you can also prepare for a stronger case in the United States with robust medical treatment. So whether you're a lawyer or you're a Canadian that has a lawyer in the US, these are important questions to discuss. If you need some guidance on this, we're always happy to assist. Another important feature for Canadians injured in the United States is underinsured motorist coverage. Canadians have very rich underinsured motorist policies. Typically, we see Canadian underinsured motorist policies on personal lines vehicles at $1 million or more. It's quite common. Shocking to our friends, our other American attorneys, that personal lines policies would carry $1 million underinsured, but it's really typical in Canada. Premiums are cheap. Most insurance companies provide that coverage. Now, here's an important feature. Depending on the jurisdiction, there is case law in Canada that says the statute of limitations starts to run on that claim from the date or the day after a demand is made for underinsured motorist benefits. This is really important for American attorneys to understand. Depending on the jurisdiction, some of those policies have a 1-year limitation date in the contract. The standard statute of limitations in Canadian provinces is subject to the province, but the policy itself could have shorter dates. There is case law that says that the limitation starts to run from when the demand is made. So be careful if you're making a demand to the underinsured motorist carrier, because you don't want to have the limitation date expire. Canadian insurance companies are savvy, just like insurance companies all over the world. They know how to save money. They know how to delay and deny and search for more and more information and lead you on, all in hopes of running the limitation out on your client. Don't be barred by the statute of limitations. If you've made a demand and you're not getting traction with the insurance company, maybe we can offer some suggestions or do some research for you on the particular limitation date on the jurisdiction that your client is from or his or her insurance policy was issued. Another important piece of the underinsured motorist claim is that many American attorneys will advance the underinsured motorist claim as part of the lawsuit in the United States against the at-fault party. They'll include it in those pleadings. We've seen from many U.S. jurisdictions where the courts have dismissed those cases. The insurance companies, when they fight, they are typically getting out on summary judgment motions and motions to dismiss because they claim that the state court cannot get jurisdiction on the contract for a contract made between the Canadian resident and their Canadian insurance policy. We've seen this happen in many states, most frequently in Florida. That's where we do a lot of our work, but we've seen it in many other states in addition to Florida. So if you are representing a Canadian and you think they have a viable underinsured motorist claim and you're expecting to file suit, just beware. There's a possibility, probably a high likelihood, that the Canadian insurance company will seek to get that claim dismissed for jurisdiction and force you and your client to litigate that claim back in their home jurisdiction in Canada. So part of our practice with our colleagues throughout the United States representing Canadians is to help advance those underinsured claims, maximize their value, file suit in the home jurisdiction. Also, along the lines of insurance companies trying to save money, Canadian insurance companies, they'll also, whether intentionally or unintentionally, because sometimes I even think the adjusters don't understand the law that well on cross-border accidents. What we've also seen is Canadian insurance companies and their adjusters giving the wrong information to U.S. lawyers with respect to damages and threshold and deductibles and all these kinds of things that serve to reduce a person's recovery, an injured person's recovery. There's case law and nuances and all kinds of factors that need to be considered to see whether or not some of those laws that, yes, might exist in Canada and might ordinarily attach to the assessment of damages in a motor vehicle accident crash, there are circumstances where those do not apply to accidents that occur outside of Canada. So if you got a counteroffer from an adjuster in Canada and they're telling you there are caps on damages and deductibles and all these other things to reduce the value of your client's case, talk to us. They might be wrong. We'll help you figure that out. We'll arm you with the information you need. There's a reason why we wrote a book on the subject of cross-border accidents, because there's a lot that goes into it. But if you are a Canadian injured in the United States and you already have a lawyer there, or you're a lawyer trying to do some research and figure out how to best represent your client with these cross-border issues, I love speaking to lawyers on this subject. We don't charge anything. I take calls every week, sometimes several days a week. Feel free to give us a call. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, as always, leave them in the comments below. It'll give us ideas for future videos, or we'll respond to your questions there. Thanks again.